The truth has been revealed on why the Vancouver Canucks moved on from Calder Cup winning and MVP goaltender Arturs Silovs as Patrik Allvin continues constructing this roster heading into next season. We're going to break down exactly why Silovs got traded, how the value works up against the rest of the league, and so much more in this episode. You're not going to miss it. So with that, let's just hop straight into it. Where if you did miss yesterday, we seen the Vancouver Canucks moved on from Arturs Silovs to the Pittsburgh Penguins for forward Chase Stillman, a former first-round pick, and a fourth-round selection in 2027. Now, this trade was a bit of a shock to some Canucks fans. We see in the quotes coming from Patrik Allvin that they knew they had three goaltenders. They were talking about going into camp and figuring out from there, but we did see the Canucks move on from the young stud goaltender in Silovs, and there is a lot of reasons behind this. Now, the first one being, and shout out to Canucks News Summaries, go check out all his work on Twitter. He does an awesome job, and like he has listed here, players that are now required waivers that did not last season: Linus Karlsson, Aatu Räty, Archie Bains, and Arturs Silovs. Now with Silovs, if he was called up to the Canucks or played on the Canucks this upcoming season, if he had to be sent down to Abbotsford for any reason, if it was against the cap, or to make room for another player, he would have to go on waivers and would probably get claimed, which would get the Canucks absolutely no return. Now, going further into it, we know around the league, goaltenders have been moved. The Montreal Canadiens moved on from Kanan Primo, in a year and a half older than Silovs. He went 21, 2-2 in the AHL this year, and he only fetched a 7th round pick. With this, we know the Vancouver Canucks, and we can go back to look at the trade, got not only a higher pick with a 4th round pick, a former first overall in Stillman that can join this Abbotsford team and maybe grow into a full-time Vancouver Canucks player when comparing Silovs and Primo. Silovs obviously was the better goaltender, winning the Calder and the MVP, but Primo still only a year and a half older, 927 save percentage, and 21 2-2. What the Canucks got in return for a fan favorite that it hurts to move on from. This is overall very good value for Arturs Silovs, and it lets them be able to go out and blossom with a new team. Now, another reason, we all know the Canucks went out and were actively extending a lot of players. Kevin Lankinen signed into a new contract, a $4.5 million contract until 2030. Thatcher Demko signing his extension starting next season, $8.5 million until 29-30. This kind of pushed any possibility for Silovs to get within this Canucks roster as a backup, a starter, or anything in between. Everything was pointing towards the Canucks having to move on from him. And with the two goaltenders, when we seen pen hit paper with Thatcher Demko, everything felt like this was the writing on the wall, and Silovs was sadly the casualty. A very good goaltender having to go to a new team, but once again, getting a big role with the new club. Now, looking at Thatcher Demko compared to Silovs, you cannot move on. I know a lot of people are very upset that Thatcher Demko has missed a lot of games, but a full healthy season, off-season I should say, under his belt, he's poised to bounce back like we see in his Vezina candidate season with a 918 save percentage, going even further with Kevin Lankinen, who signed his new contract, $4.5 million, was a bit of a journeyman in the NHL, Chicago, Nashville, Vancouver, but making a very good home for himself, a 902 save percentage, which doesn't look the best on paper, but considering what the Canucks went through last year, this is very good compared to a lot of goaltenders and what they would have done on this team, and it once again goes straight into Arturs Silovs. Listen, I want to make it very clear, I was a huge fan and will always be a huge fan of Arturs Silovs. He will be a legend in BC, Abbotsford, Vancouver, wherever you are in the province of British Columbia. Everyone should be a fan of Silovs and his development, what he's done with the team, and watched him grow with the team. Now with Silovs going to Pittsburgh, he's going to get a real chance, only being limited to 19 NHL games since being drafted by the Canucks in 2019. Silovs does have the option now to go in and take over a backup role, to play behind Tristan Jarry. This is something that Patrik Allvin made it very clear he wanted to see him get into a bigger and more expanded role with the team. We would like to thank Arturs for everything he has done for the hockey club, including helping Abbotsford win their Calder Cup. We wanted to give an opportunity elsewhere as we feel we are very well positioned in goal at the NHL AHL, and developmental level. Now we're going to get into why there is more players within the system. That was a huge point on why Silovs moved out. But you are moving out a star-studded goaltender that's going to have a very good career in the NHL. Thank God it's in the East. I would not want to play him every single year in the playoffs, conference final, second round, first round, whatever it may be. Silovs does have a good career. I mean, looking at it, 24 years old, but his cabinet is full of it. Bronze medal championship at the Worlds, best MVP and goaltender at the Worlds, Calder Cup, Calder MVP, 5 NHL playoff wins, which is 6 all-time for the Canucks, which doesn't even feel like a real stat. Arturs Silovs is going to be very good at the Pittsburgh Penguins level. We're going to watch him step in and immediately take over a 1B position, in my opinion, and he could very well take over the starting job if they move on from Tristan Jarry to give him this starter's role. I'm going to watch a lot of Penguins games, and I mean, fans, what is your thoughts on Silovs? Are you going to tune into some Pittsburgh games? Are you excited for his return to Vancouver? How do you think he plays next year? But another thing is, once again, going back into what Patrik Allvin said, he said we're very good at goal in the NHL, which is Thatcher Demko, and of course, Kevin Lankinen. The AHL, where we see Tolopilo stepping in, signing his 2-year extension with the Vancouver Canucks, having a 9-13 in one playoff game this season, but a huge part on why Abbotsford was so good at 902 save percentage, 36 games, 20-14-2. Tolopilo now gets the chance to take over the reins in Abbotsford, develop with the team. Coming from a undrafted player into this system, Tolopilo at 6'6" does have a very good track record with the Abbotsford Canucks. We've seen him have a quick stint with the Canucks as well, but I do expect him to continuously grow. Goaltenders do not get into their prime until you hit 25, 26, or 27. So with Tolopilo being just on the crisp of that age, it's going to be very exciting to see how he grows with his team, and it's just scrubbing the surface of other players. Now we know the Canucks, Alexei Medvedev was recently drafted in the second round, immediately signed to his extension. Ty Young, coming up after playing outstanding in the ECHL, does take over a backup role in Abbotsford now at the age of 20. Jiri Patera, who I keep forgetting that's on this roster, now comes in as maybe a backup or third string goaltender with this team. The Canucks organization has goaltenders at every single level, and it does suck that Silovs was the casualty once again, but with everything that is with this organization, your 2 starting goaltenders in Thatcher Demko and Kevin Lankinen in a full healthy season, this is among the top, if not the top, goaltending duo in the entire National Hockey League. You work your way down to, once again, in the juniors, Medvedev is a guy going to take over as a starting goaltender for the London Knights, who are absolutely dominant. So his development should continue, signed to his ELC. And then once again, you give the reins to Tolopilo to take over in Abbotsford as they continue and go on their quest once again to win another Calder Cup. It gives the reins to Ty Young to get more leadway, Jiri Patera to actually get in to some more meaningful games. This Vancouver Canucks team, it does suck. It does suck moving on from Silovs, but the goaltending position is the deepest the team has been in quite some time. I mean, going back to Roberto Luongo and Schneider, yes, that was very good, but we do see at every single level, this Canucks has a goaltender with potential in the NHL, AHL, ECHL, juniors, everywhere in between. I'm very excited to see how this goes, and listen, I love Silovs once again. Might even get his jersey if it goes on clearance. But what's your guys' thoughts on this? What was your thoughts on the Silovs trade? What was your thoughts on how the Canucks are handling this offseason? Because there's a lot happening, and I'm so excited to give you guys daily updates on that. Once again, if you made it this far, though, make sure to go down and hit that subscribe button. We're trying to reach 8,000 subscribers, just under 60 away. So if you made it this far, go down and hit it. It's completely free, helps us out a ton, and we'll keep you up to date on everything to do around this team. But I've been your host, Mark. I hope you enjoy this, and take care, Canucks fans.